Okay, let's be totally honest for a second. We humans have a literal obsession with making things way too big. Like, we couldn't just stop at cool flying metal tube. No, aviation engineers looked at the sky and said, hey, what if we flew an entire football field? Seriously, whether they're carrying space rockets, military tanks, or just 500 tourists fighting over a single armrest, these giant planes are a complete masterpiece of how is that physical thing staying in the air? So, buckle up. Today, we are counting down 10 of the absolute biggest planes to ever exist. 10. The Stratolaunch Rock. Starting off at number 10, we have the Stratolaunch Rock. You know, when you copy and paste something in a document and you accidentally drag it right next to itself? Yeah, that's basically what this plane looks like. It is literally two entire plane bodies glued together by the wing. Developed by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen, this absolute beast has a wingspan of 385 feet. To put that in perspective, that is wider than a professional football field. It doesn't carry regular passengers unless those passengers are actual space rockets. It flies up to a crazy high altitude, drops a rocket from its middle belly, and then lets that rocket ignite in mid-air to blast off into space. It is basically a flying trampoline for satellites, and because it's built almost entirely out of super lightweight carbon composites, gravity just kind of looks the other way and lets it fly. 9. Antonov An-124. Ruslan. Next up at number 9 is the Antonov An-124 Ruslan. Now, before the internet existed, if you wanted to move something ridiculously heavy across the planet, you called the Soviets. This plane is an absolute legend. The entire nose of the aircraft hinges upward like a giant metal whale opening its mouth to swallow a school of fish. It has an onboard crane because, let's be real, who is going to manually lift a space shuttle or a literal train car? Back in 1989, this beast set a record by carrying a single 137-ton payload. That's the weight of about 90 average cars, all packed into one flight. It is the ultimate, fine, I'll do it myself, workhorse of the sky. 8. Lockheed Martin C-5M Super Galaxy. At number 8, we have the Lockheed Martin C-5M Super Galaxy. First of all, Super Galaxy is an elite name. It sounds like a retro Mario game, but it actually behaves like a flying fortress. This is the largest military transport plane in the U.S. Air Force, measuring 247 feet long. Its cargo hold is so insanely massive that you could easily fit military tanks, helicopters, and, honestly, probably a few small neighborhoods inside. It also has in-flight refueling, which means as long as the pilots don't run out of snacks, this thing can basically fly forever. It's the ultimate heavy-duty military moving van. 7. Airbus A380 number 7. The Airbus A380. With over 22 million flights taking off globally every single year, it makes sense that passenger planes had to get bigger. Enter the A380, the largest passenger plane ever built. This thing is a literal double-decker cruise ship with wings. Some airlines got so fancy with it that they installed actual first-class apartments, private walk-in showers, and fully stocked cocktail bars on the top deck. Meanwhile, down in economy, people are still fighting to the death over the last bag of pretzels. It is so massive that when it first came out, major airports around the world had to literally rebuild their runways and gates just so this giant could fit. Talk about a flex. 6. Airbus Beluga XL number 6. The Airbus Beluga XL, aka the literal flying whale. I mean, just look at it. Airbus literally painted eyes and a happy little smile on this plane because they knew exactly what they were doing. The Beluga XL was built for one highly specific, slightly hilarious job, carrying giant airplane parts to go make other airplanes. Because modern jet wings are too big to travel on normal roads, Airbus custom-built this massive bulbous whale plane to fly parts across Europe to their assembly lines. It is peak engineering comedy, and we love it. 5. Hughes H-4 Hercules, the Spruce Goose. At number 5, the legendary Spruce Goose. Okay, first of all, despite the nickname Spruce Goose, this plane was actually made almost entirely out of birchwood. Why? Because during World War II, all the metal was being saved for weapons and ammunition. Designed by the eccentric billionaire Howard Hughes, this colossal flying boat was meant to carry troops across the Atlantic Ocean. It has a wingspan of nearly 320 feet. People literally laughed at Hughes and said a wooden plane that size could never fly. Well, on November 2nd, 1947, Howard Hughes hopped into the cockpit himself, fired up the engines, and flew it gracefully over Long Beach Harbor. Granted, it only flew for about 1 mile at an altitude of 70 feet, and then never flew again. But hey, he proved everyone wrong. 4. Boeing Dreamlifter. Number 4, the Boeing Dreamlifter. Not to be confused with the Dreamliner, the Dreamlifter is basically a Boeing 747 that ate way too much pasta. Similar to the Beluga whale plane, this colossal cargo aircraft was modified for one specific job, carrying massive pieces of other airplanes across the globe. And it has an amazing design feature. The entire tail end of the plane is on giant hinges. It literally swings open like a giant door, allowing crews to slide entire pre-built airplane wings straight into the back. It looks incredibly awkward on the runway, but it is a total masterpiece of logistics. 3. McDonnell Douglas KC-10 Extender. Coming in at number 3 is the McDonnell Douglas KC-10 Extender. The KC-10 is essentially the ultimate road trip buddy because it is the largest aerial refueling plane in the world. Its primary job is to carry over 350,000 pounds of jet fuel, fly right behind fighter jets and bombers, stick out a giant metal hose, and fill them up mid-air. It is literally a massive, highly explosive flying gas station. But when it isn't busy keeping other planes in the air, its modular interior can be quickly swapped out to transport troops or act as a massive emergency hospital in the sky. Talk about versatile. 2. North American X. B-70 Valkyrie number 2. The North American X-B-70 Valkyrie. This plane was designed during the Cold War, but honestly, it looks like it was sent back in time from the year 3000. It is gorgeous. The Valkyrie was built to fly at near space altitudes over 70,000 feet and reach speeds of Mach 3. That is 2,200 miles per hour. To survive the extreme heat caused by air friction at that speed, the lower surface of the wings had a stainless steel honeycomb design that literally circulated coolant. Even cooler, its wingtips could droop downward mid-flight to trap its own supersonic shockwave, essentially surfing on its own speed. Only 2 prototypes were ever built, but it remains one of the most stunning pieces of aviation history ever. 1. Antonov An-225, Maria. And finally, hate at number 1, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the skies, the Antonov An-225 Maria. The name Maria translates to dream in Ukrainian, and this 6-engine behemoth was the ultimate dream of aviation. Originally built in the 1980s to carry the Soviet Union's Buran space shuttle on its back, this absolute titan was more than double the length of a standard commercial jetliner. Its landing gear had 32 wheels to support its massive 1.4 million pound maximum takeoff weight. For decades, if a country needed to fly a massive wind turbine, a fleet of military vehicles, or a 200-ton generator, there was only one aircraft on Earth capable of doing it. Sadly, the only completed Maria was destroyed during conflict, but its legendary status as the absolute king of the skies will live on forever. And that is our list of the 10 biggest absolute units to ever take to the sky. Honestly, which of these flying fortresses would you actually want to take a flight in? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.